All right. We're live. Okay, let's hop in and let's chat about Blue Friday. What we're going to do during this quick little pop into your live stream across socials is we're going to share from our perspective some of the things that we don't want to miss during the Black Friday sale, just to add some inspiration to things you might want to check out. So today I have joining me Jason Stone. How you doing over there, Jason?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah, and Kirk, what's up with you? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? How are you, Matt?
Doing great. Having a frigid San Francisco summer day and just bundled up. That's how it is right now. But otherwise things are doing pretty well over here. I'm excited to chat with you guys about this. Ahead of time, we kind of compared notes a little bit about some of our picks. So Kirk, let's go ahead and hop in with you first of all. And we're going to explore some of your picks for this Blue Friday sale. Let's start with talking about your Focus on the Bible series collection. Would you tell us a little bit about that? And I'm actually going to share screen so people can take a look and know what we're talking about too.
Yeah, so we can't highlight everything in the sale, but if I was to narrow it down, I kind of decided to go with some commentaries for my highlights, the resources I'm gonna pinpoint here. The first one is this Focus on the Bible series collection. So this is a commentary series, as I said, and a lot of folks rave about Ralph Davis's contributions to this commentary. So he does a lot in the Old Testament and Old Testament narrative, but this is going to be a more homiletical commentary series. It's maybe less technical than some, so it's a bit more accessible, ordinary sort of Bible study. Bible students could pick this up, but it's also helpful for pastors as you kind of think about the big picture of a passage. Again, I've heard just amazing things about Dale Ralph Davis's contributions, especially in the Old Testament. So this one's on sale. So I thought for sure I'm gonna pinpoint, kind of put a spotlight on this one. So that's my first pick. That's my
awesome.
First pick.
Awesome. 50% off. Pretty killer deal on that one. Who would you say is who's this gonna really help? If they get this, who's the target person who would want this?
I definitely think I picked this commentary series up a while back for preparation for preaching. So I think pastors, it's not academic. So if you're looking for an academic commentary, that's not what this is. But I think preachers, people leading small groups and wanting to study the text, or Sunday school, or even if you're just, in a quote unquote ordinary Christian who just wants to know the Bible better, this would be a good companion as you're reading through a book of the Bible and just wanting a resource to help you study it more.
Awesome. Thanks, Kirk. And now let's go ahead and move on to your next choice, which is kind of like a double whammy, right? You wanted to talk about not only the New Testament collection, but also the Old Testament collection from Challies. Oh, you know what? Let me, it's having trouble sharing my screen. 1 second. Let me fix this.
You're good. I'll talk while you go.
Perfect.
So Tim Challies is a blogger. Back in the day when blogs really started blowing up, he was one of the main voices in there, and he's still going at it. And so he put together a while back a special collection of commentaries of kind of he has a blog post series on best commentaries where he names the 5 best commentaries in his opinion on each book of the Bible, or at least most of the books of the Bible he has an article on. And so these collections, both the Old and the New Testament, take, I think, one book from every book of the Bible, one commentary for every book of the Bible from his list of recommendations. So this is a great, these collections, this bundle is a great way to just, in bulk pricing, get a bunch of really good commentaries, because I tend to find that the commentaries he recommends are generally pretty good ones. And so this is a great way. They're not, in other words, it's not like a commentary bundle all from the New International Commentary or all from the Baker Exegetical. They're from various different commentary sets, and they're kind of the top choices that he put together. So both the Old and New Testament, I would definitely recommend checking out these 2 options.
That seems like a really helpful kind of aggregation of lots of different commentaries versus just having it from one publishing house or something like that. So
yeah,
that sounds really helpful.
And some are going to be more technical, others are going to be more expository. So there's a variety here too.
Okay, great. And just a quick thing to note, this is both a New Testament commentary set and also an Old Testament one. So I'll go ahead and just show you the Old Testament one. Both are at 50% off right now. And
if you scroll down, you can see the exact volumes that are included too.
Oh, very helpful.
If you keep going down, so I recommend
wow,
folks. Yep. So then you can see exactly which ones he's including in his collection.
Oh, so good. And also the sort of, total value if sold separately. That's a pretty steep price tag, but get it on a really, really solid sale price. So not to be salesman on this, but if you're in the market or looking for something like this, then this is really prime time to get something like this.
Mm-hmm. And if you already own a good number of these, or any of them, honestly, but if the more you own from these collections, remember there's that dynamic pricing, so you're not paying for what you already own, so it's going to reduce that. So if you log into your account on logos.com and go to these resources, you may see that the price is even lower than what Matt is showing on his screen.
That's great. Now for your final recommendation, your final pick, Kirk.
Yeah.
Tell us about this one.
This is another commentary. I went with all commentaries. These are, again, not technical commentaries so much. I mean, they're not lightweights, but they're not super academic. They're more accessible. But these are also good for preachers or for your ordinary Christian just looking to understand Scripture better. So the Bible Speaks Today series from, I think it's IVP, that put these out, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
And so these are a great resource to have. I own these. I oftentimes will reference them in sermon prep. But yeah, just good resources to have. This collection also comes with a theme. So there's a companion series where it's not just the Bible speaks on Hosea or the Bible speaks on the Psalms, but it's the Bible speaks on themes throughout Scripture, like maybe the mission of God or things like that. And so these sort of thematic surveys of something of a topic across Scripture. So this is another good resource, and again, significantly discounted right now. So
yeah, that sounds really interesting, and IVP puts out some really good stuff. So this will be a great resource. All right, Jason, now we get to take a look at some of your recommendations. I'm excited to dig into those as well. And at the very end, we'll get to mine. Save the best for last. I don't know.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see.
Fighting words, right? All right. So tell us about this one, Jason.
For sure. Okay. So I was trying to think, you said pick 3 probably to focus on. And I'll just say real quick that the first one, this Modern Biblical Scholarship Collection, is kind of a snapshot of the last 50 years. So it's more modern, like the title says. And then the next one is going to be a commentary series. And the last one is a smaller piece, like a single resource. So I just kind of tried to spread it across the gamut. Nice. But this first one is 100 volumes. I think it says there too, 1957 to 2015. So it's really a snapshot of the last 50 years. So it's just a powerhouse bundle with 100 books from top biblical scholars. Think of it as a passport to the last 50 years. But it covers commentaries, monographs, theology resources, historical books, more history books, and then more, it's kind of wired for pastors and students. It's more academic, research-oriented set of resources. So it's good for anyone who wants to kind of dig deep and then just stay current with academic conversations.
That's great. I feel like staying up to date on what's the dialogue that is happening currently in scholarship is part of the value of a collection like this. Because as much as having things rooted in historical tradition and stuff is highly valuable, you also got to know what is the dialogue, right? What's the current dialogue? Because that might be what's going on in your pastors or in your congregants' lives or something like that. So sounds very helpful.
For sure.
All right, now let me open up this next one, which is the Evangelical Biblical Theology commentary. As I pull it up, could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's a commentary series. It's different than the last collection that we just talked about in that this is a commentary on the books of the Bible. So Lexom Press, I just love everything that they put out. And this connects each book of the Bible to the big story of redemption, to the grand narrative. And so it kind of it zones in, or it kind of like hones in on each book of the Bible, but it also keeps the context of the canon, and then both canons. So it's great for contextualizing biblical theology. It combines careful exegesis and biblical theology, so you see kind of both the trees and the forest. It's not just kind of honing in nitty gritty on exegetical terms, and you kind of like forget what it's actually referencing big picture. But this keeps both contexts in mind as you're walking through different books of the Bible.
This one has top-notch scholars, and it's definitely a top commentary series, just considering commentary series in general. So it's academically serious, but it's also not so niche academic. Like, it's a good one for pastors, I would say, too. So definitely has some top contributions in this series.
Yeah, thanks, Kirk. I like totally knocked my mic over in the middle of that and was like, wait, let's go back.
What am I saying again? Yeah. I love it.
But yeah, thanks.
Yeah. All right. Now let's jump into your last recommendation. You said this is kind of like a single book. Tell us about it.
I feel like the first collection was like this massive commitment and investment. And then the next one was like, okay, I could get behind that commentary series from Lexom. And this one is just personal to me. And I feel like it's one that pastors should have on their shelf. So whether it's digital or not. But this one here, with being included in the Blue Friday sale, I was like, we got to make sure we mention this. This is from late pastor Tim Keller. It's a blueprint for a theologically grounded ministry in a post-Christian world, rooted in gospel, city, and those themes throughout. And so I remember walking through it with a pastoral staff, and it's extremely practical. It's real world stuff. And there's just decades of wisdom in this little book. So I wanted to make sure I pulled that out. It's really good, of course, for church leaders, for church planters, or anyone who is rethinking what faithful ministry looks like in today's age. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It's a great resource to pick up.
That sounds great. And I imagine getting a book like this and then having Logos read it to me, for example. Like, it seems like just such like a very helpful thing that, especially thinking of the way Tim Keller writes, is so conversational, and it seems like one of those things that I think I'd really enjoy taking in that way.
It's
to kind of like fill my mind.
It's not high theological or high theoretical. There's so many practical nuggets. So I think you're right on. It's like good for that.
Yeah. Great for anybody who's doing ministry in an urban context or in a town, or just trying to think about like, what does ministry look like in a way that is actually engaging with the world around me, kind of society at large and stuff. So yeah. Very good one. For my recommendations, I mean, who's going to interview me about my recommendations? Who wants to step up?
I'm doing a drum roll for you. You can't see, but Matt, we're begging for you to tell us what you recommend. That's why we're all here.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Kirk. I've been waiting for this moment to share with you. One of my first recommendations is selected works of Eugene Peterson, 20-volume set. Eugene Peterson is just one of those pastors who is highly respected. He's known for his writing, most notably for the Message translation of the Bible, which was really a pastoral attempt to get his church to read the Bible more. And there's kind of like pros and cons of that style of translation, but at the same time, what's behind it is like a pastoral heart. And I think that's what you can go to somebody like Eugene Peterson for. He's got like a heart that beats for his church and serving his people. And so this is why I wanted to recommend this one. Classics from a pastor who was just well-known, loved, and one of those people that is a great person to look to for guidance on how to pastor. Have you all engaged with any of Eugene Peterson's work? Curious.
Yeah. I mean, I've obviously referenced the Message, but I've read some of his, not a ton, but a handful of his pastoral works. He kind of has like a memoir type book where he he kind of draws reflections from his own life though. And yeah, I've definitely appreciated what he has to say.
Awesome. Yeah. The next one is probably in a somewhat similar vein. In my years in ministry, I was very, very much in a counseling role in my church. So I thought this Lexom Press Counseling and Soul Care Bundle is one that I would really want to check out. And certainly the sort of thing that can like inspire what does depth counseling look like in a church, because people are facing all sorts of challenges in their lives, in their personal lives, how they work, how they parent, and so on. And I thought this would be a great resource to take a look at in order to just really kind of ground yourself in some wisdom in counseling. And this is 40% off with Lexom right now.
Can you scroll down and show us some of the resources in
absolutely, this one? Yeah. There's lots of great, awesome Lexom authors in this.
A Quiet Mind to Suffer, I know, won some awards as a top book when it came out.
Yeah.
And I was gonna throw out, I feel like this would help bolster the counseling guide and that whole side of Logos that a lot of pastors sometimes overlook, in how you can use it for searching. Like I go to Factbook even sometimes just for the same thing, is that context around counseling and mentoring and leading in that way. So this would be a great collection for something like that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Now for my final pick. And
what's it going to be?
This one, I am like literally typing in the website in order to get it up. But if you just go to the logos.com/Blue Friday page, there's a link to it in everything, kind of wherever you're watching on YouTube or on X or anywhere. You'll see a link that you can follow that will take you right to this page where you can scroll through for yourself, see a lot of different things that are on sale right now. But if you scroll way down to the bottom, here's something that I really don't want you to miss, which
I got excited when I remembered what your third one was, Matt. This one right here. I got so excited.
I think legacy libraries are kind of the way to go when it comes to building out your library, or not the way, but like one of the ways to go. In my nerdiness, I'm like all about maximizing how do I get the most for the least, right? And that's one of my strengths finder top strengths. And so if I'm thinking about how do I really grow out my like library in a cost-effective way, get the most for the least, then legacy libraries are the way to go. The main perk that I see with having a library, like one of these larger libraries, is that it really enables the searchability of Logos in a really different kind of way, where you have a ton more resources that you can search into with Smart Search, follow those, link trails to go deeper into those books or those sections of commentaries and so on. And I was just really excited that this is on sale right now, and thought I would throw it out as a recommendation for everybody.
Yeah, the legacy libraries, libraries in general are a great way to build your library on at a cost-effective way. Like, yes, because there's a ton of books in them, they do cost a decent amount of money, but it's pennies on the dollar for the amount of books you're getting. And here's the key about legacy libraries. Normally, when you're buying a legacy library, you probably already own a library. Typically, people aren't buying that as their first library. It's sort of an add-on library, which means it's almost always going to have significant dynamic pricing. So you're getting a full library. Like, these are our old libraries, so they're a full library, but you're getting it at dynamic price plus the already discounted price because it's bundled. Like, you're just saving. This is how I've built my library on Logos to be what it is like through these legacy libraries. Is like you're just saving tons of money and getting tons of books. Like Matt, you said, then it empowers Logos to be all that stronger when you run searches, when you run fact books, etc. So definitely, that's a great one, Matt. It's a great one to close with. Maybe the best was
absolutely.
Maybe the best was last.
Maybe the best was saved for last. Wow.
Maybe it
Gosh,
was.
I was saying it as a joke, but it turned out to be true.
Are we in a rom-com right now? That sounds so like cliche, but
I know, a Hallmark movie. Yeah. Well, that's all we have for you, everybody. We hope that this gave you some inspiration. If you go check out the link in the show notes or wherever you're watching on YouTube, X, or Facebook right now, you should see a link right there. Just follow that. It'll take you to this Black Friday sale page peruse for yourself, see what strikes your fancy. And I hope that you have a great time really digging into some of these texts that you find, collections, mobile ed courses, whatever it is that you get into. We hope this helped you. Thanks, everybody. And thank you, Jason and Kirk, for being along for this live stream with me today.
Of course.
Of course.